Verde. I've been wanting to do this video for a few days now. There's a lot of stuff going on in my life. And I have a short amount of time to try to do this, so I'm gonna try to get it done quick. If not, the video will be a little longer and I'll just have to finish it later. But regardless. All right, so we're talking about bass today and how to make bass sound more impactful in a mix. All right, so first things, I'm gonna make a bass line. We're gonna do all this stuff pretty simple, as usual. You know, that's the name of the game. Now, in regards to bass apps, I like Bass 808. Anything from Moog, you know, like Model D, Model 15, Magellan here. There's a lot of applications that have good bass. So if you want a recommendation video on apps with the best bass, let me know, comment below. That would take less time for me to make, and I can do that, no problem. Synthmaster 2 is a great synthesizer too down there, you see, but I'm gonna use this here. This might be expensive now. Audio Kit Pro had their, I don't remember how they put it, but when the app came out, it was like $1.99 or something. And then they bumped the price up ridiculous so that it's exclusive. Anyway, this is what we're going to use today. So let me quickly set that up and then I'll show you how I make the bass sound a little more powerful. Let's add scalar. Actually, no. There we go. This way, no matter what DAW you're using, you can see what I'm doing with MIDI notes. All right. And actually, I'm gonna connect this first as well. So you'll see what I'm doing. So it's going to load in some MIDI here. Like I said, we're keeping this simple so you get the point. So here's the progression. Okay. And you hear the bass in the background. So for this to work, what I'm actually going to have to do is record the melody that way, or the chord progression. That way I can edit the MIDI notes for the bass. So let's do this real quick. All right, so we'll disconnect that, turn this on. First thing, to come up with a simple, effective bass line, use the root key of your chord progression. So we're going to delete all of these. Now we're going to lower this. For this synthesizer, octave 2 seems to be the best octave, but usually between octave 1 and 2 for the bass on the low end. So you hear that. Now we want to make that a little more powerful. There's multiple effects, but I find Fuzz +3 to be a game changer because it's so subtle, or you can keep it subtle. It starts off at 50% distortion, which I think is way too high. I've used it, person play and just adding this to the bass, and it really hurt my ears. But you'll see what I mean here. So let's take this down to 5%. Actually, we'll do 10. I like to start at 10 and between 10 and 5. Put the frequency around like 290, between 300 and 250. This is just what I do. I don't have a scientific reason behind it. Now this is what the bass sounds like with just this little bit of distortion. You can feel the difference. I'm gonna turn it off in 3, 2, 1. Next thing you want to do, or what I like to do, is add a low pass filter and drag the filter over the frequency. Try to do it right before you hear the bass start to get lowered. So you can cut out unnecessary frequencies and allow it to fit better in the mix. Like I said, I don't have a scientific reason or schooling behind my decisions. I just have researched and done a lot of trial and error. But you see the bass sounds pretty good. Turn it up a little bit. The best way to go about bass too is, like I said, trial and error. If you got monitor speakers or your car speakers, you got to listen to the beat on a louder perspective. That way you can hear how it really sounds and you can modify it from there. Obviously, using studio monitors would be the best way to do so you don't have to export and go to your car and turn your car on and connect it to Bluetooth or aux every time. Now, real quick, another quick tip. So our bass line here is pretty basic. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to slice in a melody. Okay, so let's see what it sounds like just with the notes being cut. If you already had the kick, you could slice these around the kick sample or whatever. That way it stays in the same synchronization as the sound, the melody, or the groove, whatever. But another quick tip here. So after you do that, you can put it up as long as you're in the same, as long as you're in scale and key, you're good. For this, with Atom Piano Roll, I'm just going to use the fifth option. So I'm going to put this up each one of these notes that I cut up a fifth. See what that sounds like. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple. Obviously, trial and error, add creativity, mix it up and everything. But that's just quick on how I go about making a bass line and making it have a little more power. This next the tip is for like one shots. So let's see here. We'll just use that. All right, so let me relight my next cigarette. All right, so obviously it's a one shot. You want to have one shot mode enabled for Koala. FL Studio is kind of like automatically going to be on, I guess you could say. I guess if you guys want a more in-depth video on one shots in actual like desktop software, comment and let me know. I have access to FL Studio, Logic Pro, Ableton, what else? And Reason. Those are all the DAWs I have, and I have experience in all of them. Ableton will probably be my least experience in regards to Ableton only things, because I go about music production and all the DAWs differently. But anyway, let's get back to what we're here for. So you see this one shot, add the choke. This way it cuts itself off. So here's a quick little easy tip that I thought of the other day. Well, I do this, but I just thought of sing it here. So that's a 1 bar melody. And then you just stretch. Now you can kind of hear that rhythm in it because it's a one shot. I'm using one sample, but I'm using this keyboard to stretch out the sample. I can show you how to